This week on West of Nowhere, we talk about more Olympic drama, specifically the controversy surrounding Algerian boxer Imane Khelif, and also a American woman who was found chained to a tree in the woods in India. Sonya Massey being shot in her home by a cop with a track record. And does painting your house, fun colors, make you a bad person on this week's Am I the Asshole? We also like to thank Pantera Girl, Colton Zamersla, Andres Valles the God, Kevin Garahan, Chantel and Mark Stadler, Colby Jordan, and Kylie Gangwish.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm on it.
Hey, freak show! You're going nowhere!
We'll do it live! Fuck
Welcome back, kids and coaches, to another episode of West of Nowhere. I am Levi.
And I'm Shane.
Yeah, and we are back with a brand new edition. Ice is back with a brand new invention. It's a little vanilla ice baby for you, because why wouldn't it, you know?
Yeah.
The song came on the radio at work the other day, and I had a moment where I was confused of whether or not it was going to be Under Pressure or Ice Baby.
Dude, every time.
Yeah. And it's not until, like, I think the third or fourth refrain where it go, like, it adds, like, the snare uptick, which is, like, what Vanilla Ice was like. That's why it's different, because it goes doon 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 doon. And it's like, okay. Because that changes the whole fucking thing. I'm an idiot. But I got to share that controversy with some of the younglings that I work with. So these guys,
okay. Nice.
These guys that are in their early 20s that never gave a fuck about Vanilla Ice and barely even know who Queen is. So, but yeah, so they're like, oh really? Like, he has to, all the money that song makes goes directly to Queen? I'm like, yeah, isn't that awesome?
Dude.
That's why you never fucking hear it anymore. He's like, don't play that shit, I can't afford it.
Dude, where do you go to find new music?
Where do you go? Where do you get off? I go to
I mean, in a couple places, you know.
Nice. Okay. I don't know. I get a lot of music from, like, my friends list, a lot of people sharing different stuff, but, like, actual, like, newly produced stuff,
Yeah.
I usually get, like, recommendations through the music app that I use.
Spotify?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I use YouTube Music now more than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So I like YouTube Music. I've been a part of YouTube Music since before it was actually called YouTube Music, when it was still called YouTube Red.
Oh yeah.
And like they just had YouTube Music there. To the point where when they switched from Google Music to YouTube Music, I had they were like, here recently I guess a couple months ago now, they raised the price.
Yeah.
And I got an email and they were like, we're not going to raise your price because you're one of the original people.
You're
and I was like, holy
OG.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck, dude. All right, that's right. So I can actually say that I was a part of YouTube Music before it was cool, you know, which is false because it's not cool.
Yeah. I just like it because I am able to listen to music that is otherwise off of other platforms due to, like, licensing issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then also sometimes there's songs that, like, the video has, like, an extra section or something in it, and I would much rather listen to that than, you know, just the studio version or whatever it is. But yeah.
So maybe I'm using the app wrong because I can never find where it's like a new recommendation ish spot.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I don't like about YouTube Music that I wish they would do, because if Spotify, and I haven't tried on this new phone, but back whenever I still had the S9, Spotify would just crash constantly.
Yeah.
And on Spotify, they have that fucking new recommendations playlist every week, it seems like, and I was just burning through new music. And I was like, this is amazing. I hate to say it, I find a lot of new music on TikTok.
Yeah. That's fair. I found a couple on there, or just from shorts, on YouTube, or Reels. Was that the Facebook one?
I think Reels is Facebook.
I find like some really obscure random things that I find hilarious on Facebook, I think, but then yeah, there's a couple that I found through TikTok, and I don't know. I think so in YouTube Music, if you start a radio station, you can tell it to find new stuff for you. Like you can have it sort like familiar, play again, and then it can be like new, like because it knows that you've listened to, you know.
Okay,
so.
yeah, because that's the problem I have with YouTube Music is that like when I start a radio, it'll play a couple songs, and maybe I need to go in and fucking change the things from familiar, because that's what happens. It'll play a couple songs that are like new-ish, and then it just goes right back to the songs I always listen to, and I'm like, okay, well, this is doing nothing.
I do find that to be one of the things that it more often than not, if I just play a song that I like, not necessarily a new one, and I don't like tell it to search for anything else, it'll kind of start playing a lot of the same things over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, then I just jump around after that. Like I'm like, all right, well then I'll just take the reins here. But yeah. So speaking of YouTube, we got some comments going on.
Nice.
This one is not the first comment, but I want you to explain it, because Andres Valles tagged it at 3346, which is when we were talking about playing video games and how I just am not usually the good person in the groups when I get asked to play in games.
Yeah.
And he says, Levi can just be our new Gary. What does that mean?
Okay, so Gary is what we call Kevin Garahan, which is another one of our subscribers. So that's what we call Kevin. We call him Gary all the time. It's like his name.
Yeah.
And I love you to death, Gary. I know you're gonna listen to this. Gary's a loot goblin. Gary just does his own thing half the match. When he's hold on, there's 3 different Garys.
All right.
There is drunk Gary, who no one knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because he's drunk and you can't understand him. Then there's like slightly inebriated Gary, and that Gary is wandering around the map, just opening loot boxes, buying shit. Just like it is semi useful.
Yeah.
And then there's sober Gary, who is like my favorite Gary, because he's locked in, he's helping you, he's calling out, he's doing shit, he's moving with the group. Right. But Gary is in our group the lowest KD person, so we play with him. We do like I like Gary, but playing with him puts us in lower lobbies.
Oh, gotcha.
And so that's what Vondris is saying. Like we play with you, be the new Gary. But except for you don't drink, so you would just be with us the whole time, calling out shit. Yeah. So you'd be Gary 2.0 actually. 2.0.
I always wanted to be the second version of Gary. Kevin Garahan also left a comment, which he wanted to know what the website I was talking about that shares like what streamers your gamertag gets in contact with, and I don't know that there's probably one for Call of Duty, but I don't know it. But the one I was talking about is the PUBG report, so you could probably just Google Call of Duty PUBG report equivalent, and you could probably find something. But
I think the problem with that is that Call of Duty no longer shares their metadata with anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the big craze during Warzone 1 was that you could share your metadata with third-party sites.
Yeah.
And those third-party sites would track all of your stats, like at an insane level, like your KD per season, per overall, like all kinds of shit. But now with Warzone 3, for whatever reason, that a bunch of those sites, all those sites that were doing that from Warzone 1, and I think partially into Warzone 2, when they stopped sharing that data or letting it be shared, all those sites died.
Yeah.
So, and I would imagine PUBG doesn't give a fuck and still like lets that shit be whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah.
T-Ferg says about the Olympics controversy, which seems to be never ending with this fucking thing. But he says the Feast of the Gods is so different than the Last Supper portrait. I highly recommend Dan McClellan's video on the matter. He's a scholar of the Bible and debunks the outrage. And this is a guy, Dan McClellan, I found on my own on TikTok, and he like has his doctorate, I think, in like he studies the Bible, but he does it through, and I think I've talked about him before, but he does it in this way where he's like versed in different languages, so he like talks about the translation errors that can happen when people are trying to like say that the Bible meant one thing. He's like, well, you really got to look at historical context, and then also the translation could mean this or this, so we don't really know. And like does like this really in-depth breaking down. And this is probably one of my favorite comments from T-Fert, because Dan McClellan's the shit. He's very smart, and he's not like, because I think he studied at Brigham Young, and
oh wow.
And like but he doesn't come off as like overly like, well, this is this just because Jesus wants it this way or whatever. Like he never once is like trying to be a like pastoral kind of person in his videos. He's just telling you the facts and like taking outrage, like video clips where people are like saying, oh, this is blasphemy, this is whatever, and then he just breaks it down, and he's like, yeah, this person is a little outside of their wheelhouse with this, and then he'll break it down. Like,
oh wow.
Fact backed, like all the way down, saying, no, this is not factual at all, and it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go have to watch that one because I haven't done it yet. But yeah. So I guess jumping off of that into the Olympics. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to your social media feed, but have you been seeing anything about it at all that you can think of?
Well, the boxing, right? The female boxing.
Okay.
Dude. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
It just it went high and right so fast.
Yeah.
And then now I'm seeing all these like not necessarily the same websites retracting it, but like people are like, it's not the way everyone said it was. Calm down.
Yeah, so many headlines that were like, Italy's Olympic female boxer throws in towel less than a minute into fight against fighter who failed a genetic test, or like a what do they call it? Gender test.
Yeah.
And it's like, what kind of word salad fucking headline is that? Like you know what you're doing with a headline like that, because all you're doing is drumming up people clicking on it because they're like, oh shit. And it fucking got so many people. So many people fell for it like immediately.
The one that I saw was Italian boxer falls to her knees, says, I can't fight. And then it was like, when she finds out it's a genetic man or a transgender man or some shit. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because, like, I don't know. I watched the fight because it's obviously not super duper long, but the Italian boxer does get fucking rocked once. She times out, which I didn't know you could fucking do that, but I think it has something to do with the fact that they fight with gear, like headgear and shit. She goes to her corner and they like readjust her headgear.
Yeah.
And then they like time back in and then start fighting again. And then she gets fucking smashed in the face again, and then she's like, nope. She goes back to the thing. She's like, I can't do this. And it honestly reminded me of, like, I don't know, there's been a couple like super famous fights over the years where another fighter is like accused of cheating in one way or the other.
Right.
But it seems like there's something extra going on, even though there might not be. But they're just like, this is not how I expected this to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, the amount of like insanity coming out from this like thing is crazy. So to break it down in a timeline, Khelif is the last name of the Algerian. Imane Khelif is the full name. So she's from Algeria, first of all. That's the one argument that I've been seeing is like, she's from Algeria. You think they're gonna let a transgender person represent them at the Olympics? Like,
Oh, right.
Algeria is very like super conservative, up there with like the likes of Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, like that kind of thing, where they're like, we don't like people doing things that aren't pretty normal. Like they outlaw gay marriage still. Like they're,
wow.
Yeah, they're very, very old school. So that's just a starter into her backstory. But she's been boxing for a long time. She competed in world boxing events dating back to 2018.
Oh, wow.
She finished 17th in the women's lightweight event in 2018, AIBA Women's Boxing World Championship, and then 33rd in the 2019, which, okay, she's not dog walking everybody.
Yeah.
So that's plot hole number one. She won a gold medal in Istanbul Bosphorus International Boxing Tournament in 2021. And then in 2020, she represented Algeria in the women's lightweight Olympics, and then she was defeated by Ireland's Kelly Harrington in the quarterfinals. And she was also the first female boxer to represent Algeria in the Olympics in 2020. So once again, highlighting what Algeria's up. Like this is how the country that she's from. It's like we barely even let women in here. So this is. And then in 2022, she competes at the IBA, International Boxing Association World Championship, and she won a gold medal there. And then in 2023, same kind of championship, the IBA Women's World Championship, she competed for a gold medal, and then was disqualified by the IBA, which claimed that she had failed some eligibility tests. Now, they also, the president of the IBA said that she failed these tests, and there was evidence that she had X and Y chromosomes, which, okay, so this is, they're stating that this is a genetic male, right? Kind of a problem here is that, number one, the IBA, the president of the IBA is Umar Kremlev, Russian-led organization, or Russian-led at this point.
Yeah.
And she had just beat a previously unbeaten Russian prospect, like right before this happened. So she was disqualified, and then that win, or that loss for the Russian boxer turns into a win. So that boxer retains their unbeaten record. Also, the IBA has been banned from being part of the Olympics. The Olympics usually uses the governing bodies of each sport to kind of dictate what's going on.
Yeah.
And the IBA has been banned because of things like this, but also there's been a lot of allegations of some misdealings and otherwise, like, what's the...
like fixing
like
of
bribery
fights?
and stuff like that. So that's the other part of this. The IBA is not even official part of the Olympics anymore, and there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, the Olympics is just going to let whoever in, whatever, all the time, and that's not how that works either. They still have their, their rules. Every sport, each individual sport still makes its own rules. It's just depending on, does that sport have a governing body? Boxing, for instance, didn't have the IBA, but there was still a team that was put together to assemble the official rules for the Olympics, right? So, IBA says, she failed these tests, and we believe that she's got XY chromosomes. Doesn't produce the report, doesn't prove it, doesn't go, here you go. And then now, the Olympic Committee, the Olympic testing says, she's obviously a woman. She's been fighting as a woman for years.
Yeah.
She's from, like, her passport says female. Like, all of her records say female. Everything says female. Like, this is what we're going off. Now,
look, obviously, these documents have been doctored, okay? Obviously. And you're just falling in with what, with the shadow government, what they want us to believe.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
you're
know
part
that
of the
the shadow
problem.
government is big on Algeria winning a women's boxing match. I know that's obviously
Look.
part of the big
Look,
scheme.
you're not thinking about the overall chessboard. Algeria is just a pawn in the overall scheme, and you're not fucking focused.
Yeah,
Whatever.
pretty much. So, so I mentioned that she had lost a couple matches, and
Yeah.
obviously she finished 17th and 33rd in a couple world boxing events. She's won 6 fights by KO, 43 wins total. 4 of those have been disqualified by the IBA, and she's lost 9 times. That's a pretty standard record for somebody that's fighting in the Olympics. I don't think it's that crazy of a record. She's obviously losing, so it's, for comparison, the woman who withdrew, the Italian woman, Angela Carini,
Yeah.
has 84 wins and 23 losses. So, I mean, you can kind of scale it down a little bit, and it's pretty close record-wise. I mean, plus or minus 5, I think but pretty similar records. So, I don't know. It's just so crazy how many people are just rushing to go, hey, yo, it was obviously because this woman doesn't look exactly how you'd expect a female to look, I guess. But have you watched female boxing? Like, they're if that's what we're going off of, she doesn't look like a traditionally attractive female, then most female boxers probably aren't going to cut it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and it's
something about
fucked up.
something about getting hit in the face really like changes the way you look, Like,
Yeah. Well, and it's just fucked up. It's like, why are we making this decision? Like, first of all, why does it matter? Like, why is it doesn't affect you? It's not true, and you're acting as if it was, and somehow that, like, yeah.
What I ended up reading was that she has some condition.
Yeah.
Where she produces more testosterone than a normal woman.
Yeah, it's like sewers. I don't know.
Which
how to pronounce it.
either way, like that. Okay, well, I guess. Like, I don't see why it's such an issue. Like they've already proved that, like, she just has a condition. She's still a woman.
Well, here's the thing: is like, okay, her condition produces more testosterone,
but like,
she's still genetically a woman. Yeah. She's still like, this is what. And like, if we're gonna disbar her or like kick her out for having her body that doesn't because it produces one more. Well, let's look at Michael Phelps, whose body produces half the lactic acid a normal biological man would.
Nice.
There's genetic freaks that do compete at high level. They are exponentially better than the standard human. I mean, I'm sure there's probably something going on with Usain Bolt why he's so fucking fat. You know what I mean? Like, we could break down every single fucking top athlete.
I'm not saying that she.
No,
should
I know.
be...
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying the argument of people like it's. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Definitely not.
But so yeah, her. I was looking for it before, and then I ended up finding it, and then I lost it again. But her last opponent, who beat her, I think, in the 2020 Olympics had said, oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh.
I can't find it now. Well, I had it and I lost it. It's okay. But it was one of her former opponents is like, she's lost 9 times. Like, that should tell you everything you need to know. She doesn't have an unfair advantage. Like, it's 9 losses is 9 losses. You can't really fake that.
I can tell you, I can answer that for you, okay? Look, not all dudes can beat up all women, okay?
Yeah.
And she's just clearly she is just a very undertrained man. She's just beating up on less trained women, okay?
Yeah. Obviously.
And the women that beat her were just better trained.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, I found it. Amy Broadhurst, who had fought her at the 2020 IBA World's Boxing Championship. So 2022, sorry. Beat her. So 2 years after her last Olympic outing, she said, "Have a lot of people texting me over the Imane Khelif. Personally, I don't think she has done anything to cheat. I think it's the way she's born, and that's out of her control. The fact that she's been beaten by 9 females before says it all." Which, yeah, was kind of what I was saying. But anyway, it is super weird that people are more mad about this than they are about the fucking child molester that was fucking competing. That we talked about last week. Good news. That guy has lost. He got kicked out. So, or he didn't get kicked out. He got eliminated through competition. But
that's less cool.
Still a win, I think. I don't know.
I think it's a win if the organization goes, "You were convicted of this. Get the fuck out of here." Like, Olympians are supposed to be like obviously peak physical condition people, but also like they're representing they're representing the country.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I agree. Like you want people who set an example, who are like, that's why so many people were so upset with Michael Phelps when there was that picture of him smoking pot. They're like, "Oh my God, you piece of shit, you're supposed to be this Olympian, you're supposed to set an example." It's like, first of all, it's just weed. Second of all, like,
I was gonna say that's
but this was like 2010 or something. People had bigger issues back then, I guess. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I got 2 depressing stories back to back, so hope you're ready. I found this one just today, but there's an American woman who was found chained to a tree in a forest in India. And then she said that she had been tied there by her husband and left for 40 days without food. Yeah.
Well, the 40 days is probably a lie, but
a
long time.
Could be. So here, I'm going to show you this picture of her.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah. So
she's just eating shit off the ground to stay alive.
Had to have been. Like,
dude,
probably.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So that's crazy, right? She was 50, obviously emaciated if you saw that picture. Yeah, she wrote a note because she couldn't speak when she was found. Which I'm impressed that she was able to fucking write. You would think her hands would not be cooperating either, but she was found by a shepherd that heard her crying for help. And then, so obviously her husband is being searched for attempted murder, but she had been living in India for 10 years. But she was born in the U.S. and she had been living in 10 years, and then her visa had expired there. So she had traveled to India originally just to learn yoga. That was her. Like, that was the whole reason she showed up. And like, how crazy of a trajectory. It was like, I'm gonna go to yoga. I'm gonna go to yoga, learn India.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to India, learn yoga. Live a wholesome and peaceful life, and then 10 years later, chained to a tree in the middle of the forest, fucking looking like a straight up Holocaust victim. Like,
dude,
she looks rough
that's bad.
Yeah. So
God, man.
Yeah.
You go to India. You go to yoga to learn India.
Yeah.
And then
you think it's gonna be a good time.
You meet the love of your life, or what you think is the love of your life.
Yeah.
And then you're chained to a fucking tree. That is insane, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So
God.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that happy note, we're gonna transition to another happy story.
Man.
I was going to talk about this last week, but I think we just ended up talking about all sorts of other stuff for too long, so like we do. But have you heard about this shooting of Sonya Massey? Have you heard about this at all?
So I have like seen bits and pieces, but I don't know the story. No.
Okay. So Sonya Massey, a woman who looks like Illinois, maybe. It doesn't matter. She's American citizen. called called the police for help.
Yes.
She was, the body cam footage shows that cops come, ask her if she's doing okay, like if she's having any kind of like mental episodes or anything like that, and asked if she was medicated, and I think she said no, and then they all go in the house, and she's got water boiling on the stove, and she's in the kitchen, and the one cop is like talking to her, and then she gets closer to the stove. He's like, I need you to turn that water off, like turn the heat off the water, because he was nervous about it, thought maybe she was gonna throw the boiling water at him or something, I don't know.
Okay.
And so he's like, yeah, you need to shut the water off, or shut the heat off. And then she gets closer, and he's like, I can't remember specifically what he said, but something to the effect of, don't fucking touch that water, I'll shoot you in the fucking face. And then she says, I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. And he says, you better fucking not. And then a minute later, shoots her right in the head. And yeah, so not typically how that should go down. I mean, I didn't see her really reach for the fucking pot or anything. Like, she was just kind of standing there.
Yeah, but also,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Like, that response that she gave, like, that's, you can tell something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like, obviously he's being a dick, whatever.
Yeah.
But her response, like, where are the other officers at? Like, how
there
was
was two. There was two officers.
How was nobody going? Her response is a little odd. Maybe she's not like thinking clearly.
Yeah.
Like, obviously she's not fucking being
don't
violent.
we,
she just let you assholes in the fucking house. Sorry.
Take a step back. Yeah. No. You're yeah, exactly. So, it gets worse. So he, shoots her. She's dead. The other officer, whose body cam footage it is that I watched, was like, I'm gonna go back to the car and get my kit, his first aid kit. And the guy who shot her is like, don't bother, that was a headshot. Yeah. Yeah. Like, he's in the fucking COD lobby or something. Like, he's...
Dude.
Yeah. Now, that's bad enough on its own, right? That is its whole own ordeal, right? This guy, former Army guy, who was discharged in 2016 from misconduct, so doesn't say what specifically happened.
Yeah, because it can't.
But he had he had DUIs, and then also some other undisclosed, that's the word.
Yeah.
Undisclosed charges, things like that. So, yeah. He was moved from police department to police department in different incidences. A couple of them they don't say, but then he had another DUI, and just a lot of like.
Does it say what kind of fucking separation he got from the military? You know what I mean? Like, honorable,
yeah,
other than honorable?
So it doesn't. It says in this paragraph it said had been discharged from the Army due to a misconduct.
Because
and then in the next one it says general discharge, which I don't.
Oh, just a general.
Yeah, they're like, all right, see ya. Yeah.
Because my argument was gonna be for a second there, like, if it was like a dishonorable, or like a whatever, like, clearly
Other than honorable or whatever.
Yeah, well, other than honorable, still like you have to really fuck up to get dishonorable. Like, you have to actually do something heinous.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping to just shit on whatever police force hired him.
Yeah.
Because the way he's acting, like,
Yeah.
like, clearly there's something wrong, like, with her, like, mentally. So
Yeah.
you just get the fuck out of the house. Like, if you think, oh, she's gonna throw water on me, maybe I should not be in this room.
Yeah,
like, she doesn't have a weapon.
Walk
She's
out
not
to
a
the other
fucking
side
direct
of
threat.
The screen door, where you can still maintain communication.
Yeah,
but,
either
like,
way, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I don't think that the throwing of hot water ever like justifies deadly force.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna suck, it's gonna hurt, but like she's got to do this, and then you get a chance to turn, and yeah, you'll probably get burned, but you can't die from fucking hot water.
Yeah.
Like not enough from a goddamn pot. Like yeah, sure, if someone boils a fucking massive pot
and throws it like
down,
right at your, but if you see the video, he's like a good 8 feet more maybe away from her. He's not like right next to her.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever thrown water. It's not exactly the most
accurate
responsive
thing?
Inaccurate thing. Yeah, it's like I kind of went in that general direction. Like it.
I do like that the chief of police came out and was like, we made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
There wasn't like any
she called for help and we failed. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do like that happened. I mean, it sucks.
This dude had worked in 6 different police agencies since 2020. It says
Why? Like what the fuck?
Right? That's crazy.
Of his own volition, or people were just like, no, you can't work here. You got to transfer somewhere else.
That's so insane. In some cases he left, and then other cases he was transferred. Whatever that means. So.
Because he's a fucking psychopath?
Yeah. One of the places he worked at from the Logan County Sheriff's Office in Illinois said he needed to take, quote, high-stress decision-making classes. No fucking shit. What? That's crazy. Yeah. That's so, crazy that, like, one of your former employers said that. Like, that's wild.
You know what this is a fucking, like, what this is, right? Like, this is clear proof that the police union protects them way too fucking much.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's crazy because, like, okay, just going back to that last thing for a minute. If your sheriff's office says you need to take high stress, like, what is it? High stress decision-making classes, when your job is high stress, most of the, like, it is described as high stress most of the time it's being talked about. Like, never once has anybody gone, yeah, cops got a pretty laid back job. Like, maybe if you watch Super Troopers too much or something, I don't know, but
I can't pull over any farther.
Yeah, so pretty fucked up. Sonya also had a 17-year-old son, so
God, man.
Yeah, not great. I don't know. It's super fucked up. Here's the thing. It just seems very fucked up. Like, I understand at the very beginning he's like turn the thing off, like that's kind of dangerous. We're gonna be talking and you're not paying attention to it. We don't need a fire, whatever. And then she like goes to turn it off and he's like, actually, I don't like you near the water. Like, you know, it's so fucked up. Like, what do you want her to do? You know? And then it seemed like no matter what she was gonna do, he was probably gonna make that decision because, like, dude,
I don't know, man. It just seems so crazy to me. Like, when you say, like, the first time around, yeah, I get it, and the second time, and then she says, "I rebuke you in the name of the Lord." That's not like a normal response to things. Yeah. Like, hey guys, we should. She back
said it
out
twice too. Yeah, because she said it and then he said, "Huh," and then she said it again and he said, "You better fucking not." Which
that's okay. That's
like,
hey guys, we should back out of this house and we should call. I don't know.
Look at a professional here.
Yeah, some kind of professional to talk to her because clearly what I'm saying and what she thinks is going on are two different things.
Yeah.
I don't ever see how like the response is to shoot her though, dude. That's insane.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're having fun. That's all I got.
We're having fun. Well, I'm glad you guys made it this far, and I'm sorry that Levi chooses to pick stories that make you upset. Because he often does it to me because I don't know what he's going to talk about before we talk about it. So, I'm with you.
I'm going to keep you guessing.
But stop what you're doing. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Leave us a review somewhere. Supposedly, Levi checks if you guys leave reviews in other places. So, I don't know. If we're not reading, if you've left a review somewhere and we haven't read it, let us know. We'll go back and we'll cover it.
We'll find it.
We appreciate all of you all the
Liam
time.
Neeson style.
Oh man. All right. This week's Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my neighbor to grow up, get a life, and get the fuck over the fact that I painted my house a color he doesn't like?
I'm going to say no right away.
All right. I bought a house in a community without an HOA, which is hard to do.
Perfect. All right.
I wanted my home to be my home, and that includes making it look like the way I want it to. I also chose a neighborhood that already has fun, colorful houses instead of just plain earth tones. Okay.
Nice. Sounds cool.
Yeah. I finally got to the point where I could repaint my home. I picked a soft peachy color with sage blue and soft dark pink accents. That's a lot of different colors going on.
Light pink, light blue, and then pink.
And then dark pink.
Yeah.
So light pink, sage, which...
Oh, wait, that's green. That's like a...
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a
light
pale
pink, green, blue, and soft
Actually, I changed
dark
my
pink.
answer. You're an asshole. This color scheme fucking sucks, dude. What the fuck?
All right. Fun and colorful without being too out there. I think if you Google quotations colors blue, sage, peach, you'll see a similar palette. Okay. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
My neighbor Paul fucking hates it and has been complaining since we started the project. He also made his opinion known that he hates our front lawn, lots of wildflowers and sunflowers, fun garden flags, a little free library, etc. I don't get that last part.
I don't either.
Say
it again.
A little free library.
Oh, they have the little book stands out front.
Yeah.
People's
That's
houses.
what I thought.
Yeah.
I've seen them here too in
Take
Washington.
a book, leave a book kind of thing. This is the color palette.
I guess that's not bad.
It's not as bad as I was thinking.
Yeah, no, it
if
sounds
this is
worse.
true blue to what he was saying, I guess.
He
but-
did use that word too, COO. That's why I was like weird at first.
Oh, spelled it that way?
He did spell colors at the bottom left of that picture you showed.
Okay.
He did spell it the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Okay.
Okay, nice. So that's what he did then.
All right.
Each and every time I've told him that I don't care. Truly, I don't. And I've suggested a few times that maybe he'd be happier in an HOA community that has control over everything and forces people into having earth-toned homes.
Right.
Paul got angry when I suggested that and said he's lived in his home for 15 years and shouldn't have to move. I told him, okay, well, you'll have to learn to live with a little color. Okay. Last weekend, I was putting in pavers that my niece and I had painted together. They're all things like ladybugs, turtles, birds, etc., and fun colors. I adore them. My niece is so excited, and she gets to be a part of my home. Paul came over to complain yet again and saying it was all an eyesore, and my niece was here. So I told him, it's time for you to grow up and get the fuck over what I'm doing with my home. He got even pissier and told me that I had no right to talk to him this way. Do I know who I'm talking to? Etc.
Yeah, his name's Paul, obviously.
I told him to just go away and get a fucking life. If he has so much free time to bitch and moan about a colorful house, maybe he should get a hobby. I agree.
Yeah. He can build Lego houses that are all black or something.
And brown, and tan.
Yeah.
He stormed off, calling me a nasty piece of work. My niece was cracking up on the side. For the record, no one in my family is uptight. We really don't care about cursing. I know some people still clutch their pearls over it around kids. She's 15.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure she says worse. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the other neighbors came to tell me that he's been flapping his yap. Dude, whoever is talking is also pretty old.
Yeah. Or
Flapping
unless
his
that's
yap.
how the neighbor said it.
Oh, okay. That's fair too.
He's been flapping his yap. Just lives with a bunch of blue hairs.
Dude, he's been flapping his yap about how disrespectful I am to talk to him like that. She told me that she knows he's a pain, but that he has been in the neighborhood forever and it's worth being nice to him. I don't know. Is telling him to get a life that big of a deal? Am I the asshole?
I don't think so.
No.
I hate that this, first of all, this kind of person where people just are like, it's just easier to placate them, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck that kind of person. I cannot stand anything more that like we can't make Paul mad. Dude, fuck that guy.
Fuck Paul.
I can't, like, I just am not on board with that. I've been in a few situations. I worked with some people.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just easier just to let them do that. I'm like, no, because they walk all over everybody, and then you let them, and then they proceed to do it because they don't think anybody is going to do anything. You gotta fucking flick them on the nose or something. I don't know. Bad. You fucking stop it. Like, yeah. I was gonna say something and then I forgot what it was. Like, I was like, ooh, I gotta remember that, and then I forgot. So
I hate when that happens, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, not the asshole.
Yeah. It's such a
I don't like the
weird
color
thing.
scheme, but like,
Yeah. Well, and it's even weirder is like, yeah, you could move to a fucking HOA neighborhood and then you'd be free to live in your humdrum, boring ass house, like Soviet bloc bullshit where you don't want any colors or happiness or complains about the little free library is hilarious to me because it's like, who does that hurt?
yeah.
It's not yours. Like, you're not putting books in there, obviously. You can't read, Paul. But, like, it's like, just the person just hates everything. I hate your flowers and your house and your stupid library. Oh, you're teaching kids to read.
You know what's crazy is I bet Paul is just a lonely old man.
100%.
I bet his wife died, and he's just alone in that house. And now
This is
there's
how he
nothing.
talks to people.
There's nothing better to do except for just to be mean and crotchety.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. We've seen Up. What's the movie with Clint Eastwood?
Oh, Gran Torino.
We've seen Gran Torino. Like, he's just they're just mean old white. I guarantee you, Paul's white. There's
100%.
He's a mean old white dude. His wife died. He has nothing better to do but just be upset about things that don't matter.
Yeah.
Someone needs to just fucking give him a cupcake and pat him on the back, dude.
Invite him to the local cookout. You know,
Invite him to your house, dude. Invite him to your house for the cookout.
Let him see what kind of crazy ass color scheme you got going inside. You know?
Yes, dude.
'Cause if it looks like that on the outside, I can only imagine what it looks like outside.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments some more old white dude movies that like let you know that
Yeah.
they just need some extra hugs. All right.
What are the people saying on this one? I feel like this is gonna be
Oh
divisive.
yeah. Oh no, it's not. It's not at
No?
all. Like resounding, not the asshole.
Okay, perfect. I was nervous about it for a second. But...
I mean, it's Reddit, dude. Come on. Like.
Oh yeah. They're like, yeah, Paul. Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I love driving around and then seeing fun color houses. It is like a kind of a breath of fresh air in a lot of places. There's one house that I drive by semi-regularly, and it's like blue, like bright blue, like Facebook blue almost. And it's cool as hell. I'm like, and it's an old guy that lives there, so that's wild.
Yeah.
I see him outside every now and then. I'm like, get inside. You're gonna get skin cancer or something, old man. But he just repainted it too. It was like a dull blue, and now it's like way brighter.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. And it sits next to like a beige house, and so it just pops, you know.
See, you need to go over there and talk to him.
Yeah.
I
Like,
guarantee
hey,
he's
what's
got
up, dude?
stories. And if he's
got
doing
to.
cool colors, he's probably a cool dude. He's just
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
I know you hate blue hairs, but
Yeah.
give him a chance, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, reverse up. This is a reverse up situation where like you just hate old people and you just
Yeah.
need like a solid old person to fucking be and for you to be like, you know what? You redeemed
Just
him.
change my ways, and they just come in and they're like,
Dude, I love old people, dude.
yeah.
When I was younger, I did a lot of volunteering at like old people's homes.
Yeah.
I was a part of this thing called Project Star, where like during the summer, you would just we would go and we would do like bottle rocket things, and we would do like random school, like scholastic stuff. But also on the side, we'd also go volunteer.
Yeah.
And some of the best times I ever had was like sitting in a room with a bunch of old people and like hearing like just like shit that had happened. Like,
yeah.
the one that stuck with me was there was this lady, her name was Mrs. Budwasher.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was Mrs. Budwash. She wasn't originally from America. She was originally from Yugoslavia.
Yeah, no
Now
shit.
it's called now it's called the Czech Republic, whatever.
Yeah.
But she had came over, you know, fucking 40, 50 years before. She was like, oh yeah, I danced with the president. Like, I forget the president. Like, there was a lot of shit, but she had talked, all the shit she talked about was nuts.
That's crazy.
Great, amazing lady. And I was like, dude, I love old people. And like from doing that a bunch, you know, like I was like, I love old people. So it's weird whenever you're just like, fuck blue hairs. I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, it's
like
just
one of the few things we don't agree
like
about.
retail working environments that I've been in, where they're like, I'm meeting them when they're already like in a grumpy mood because they are outside of like their relaxing places. They're shopping. Shopping puts most people on edge because for some reason they're deciding to do this, and I don't know. It's like, I'm putting myself out by making myself go buy stuff. But and they just, you tell them one thing that doesn't jive with what they wanted to hear, and then they just so venomous about it, and it's like, go away. I don't care. I don't care that you're mad that it's expensive. I don't care what it costs when you were my age. I just don't. I don't need to hear any of it. I would gladly listen to stories that have nothing to do with them buying anything, or or like them talking about current events. But like, I'll listen to them tell stories about the old days. That's fine. But it's, I don't know. A lot of the interactions I've had also have this like, we're just fucking way better than you. Like, I know everything and you don't know shit. And it's like, all right, man. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've worked retail too much is probably the issue, but
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'd like to thank our friends, the Macabre Emporium. Is it the real Macabre? Yeah, Macabre Emporium, the Real Creature Feature, Society of Cryptid Hunters, and the Remedial Scholar. Yeah, that's all of them.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
I've had enough. Peace out, bitches.
Tip your bartender.